Radio check. This is Roche Orbital, broadcasting to you from lower Earth orbit. Today, I'd like to talk about the Big Bang Theory, and more importantly, the man behind its creation, Georges Lemaitre. In the early 20th century, our view of the universe was a lot more conservative than it is now. Scientists at the time thought the whole universe was just the Milky Way galaxy. The Milky Way is roughly 100,000 light years wide, so to inhabit such a large place is still quite the experience. Common knowledge at this time was of a static universe with no beginning and no end, although one man was dreaming of a larger cosmos, a cosmos that started with one enormous explosion. This man's name was Georges Lemaitre, a lesser-known physicist in the public eye, yet Georges' contribution to our collective knowledge was great. Georges was born in Belgium in 1894 during a time of peace, although this peace was short-lived. World War I broke out when Georges was a young man. He found himself on the battlefield. While commanding artillery units on the front, something in Georges rose from the ashes of battle. Georges became set on furthering humanity's collective knowledge with the hope that we would improve as a whole. We live in such a wondrous space. Why should we fight in these wars that kill millions? Well, Georges survived the war and went to college to study mathematical astronomy and physics. He began researching Einstein's general theory of relativity and found solutions that showed the universe was in fact expanding. These solutions were even overlooked by Einstein himself. He recorded 42 spiral nebulae that were redshifted. Redshift is when light is stretched to the red spectrum. This redshift shows us that an object is in fact moving away from us. This is analogous to the sound of a plane getting quieter as it flies away from you. And in 1927, Georges published his work in a paper titled A Homogeneous Universe of Constant Mass and Increasing Radius Accounting for the Radial Velocity of Extragalactic Nebulae. One hell of a name. This paper received no attention from the scientific community, and this new view of the cosmos was largely ignored. Georges didn't give up that easily, and he continued his work, spending day after day studying mathematical data on the universe and spending all night gazing at the wondrous stars. A curious idea blossomed in his head one night. If the universe was expanding, then in the past it was much smaller. In 1931, he published this new idea in a paper called The Primeval Atom. This paper stated that the universe began in one enormous explosion. All the matter in the universe inhabited a space the size of an atom. Georges said that our knowledge of the universe would break down completely at this time. The state of the universe was beyond our understanding entirely. He imagined a place without time as we know it, a place with perfect order. Georges even wrote that this genesis of the universe could be seen in cosmic rays left by this explosion. Here are his words. Ashes and smoke of bright but very rapid fireworks. We are led to the conclusion that the stars were born some 10,000 million years ago without atmospheres, and that the cosmic rays are outstanding features of the formation of a star. Cosmic microwave background radiation is how we study the origin of the universe today. But in 1931, there was no proof they existed. CMB wasn't found until 1964. Georges ironed out his work with mathematical data, yet his theory was mocked as many called it the Big Bang Theory. This nomenclature was meant to insult Georges, but he stood by his work with pride. Georges died in 1966, a couple years after the cosmic microwave background was discovered. His Big Bang Theory is now the base for modern-day cosmology. His work furthered our collective knowledge of our existence and showed us that we exist in an enormous universe, a universe that started with one amazing explosion in which we still feel today. All of us on Roche Orbital, thank you for listening, and I hope you learned something. Seeing your life as an integral part of the universe is called a cosmic perspective. To grasp how small you are in comparison to the scale of the universe is important. Although we may be small, we are all connected to one another, and we are all connected to the cosmos around us. Maybe, just maybe, one day we will stop seeing other people as them and see everybody as one. This is Roche Orbital, signing off.
Peace.